Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. What's up, y'all? Back here on another Tasty Tuesday for another happy hour. I'm Eric, your humble malt user, beaming the Whiskey Tube signal from Chicago, Illinois. What's good, everybody? I hope you all are doing well this fine Tuesday. Summer has begun in force here in Chicago, and hope so for all of you as well. You guys are getting nice weather wherever you are. Let's start things off, as we always do, with a couple hellos, some check-ins with the folks already ponied up here at the virtual whiskey bar. We got a good show tonight. I'm eager to get into it. And it looks like we already got 11 folks in, which is awesome, man. Hello. All right, let's do this. First in the door tonight. What's up, Paul in Montreal, Quebec? Good to see you. It's lunch, sir. East Texas, Daniel H. saying hello. Duluth's here, Mr. French. First ever glass of Springbank. Oh, right on, man. Enjoy that, sir. We will be talking a little bit about that very distillery this evening. Back from his travels on the other side of the pond, ladies and gentlemen, Donner Pass Whiskey. All the bottles made it home, back whole and dry. That is great. Our good friend Donner Pass, great friend of the show, Patreon supporter, all that good stuff. He was over there checking out Scotland and Ireland, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Glad you are safe back at home from your travels, sir, with all of your travel goodies. I can imagine you must have had some really good stuff. Whiskey Nose, what up? Great avatar, sir. Love it. How are you, sir? From the Quad Cities on the other side of the great state of Illinois, it's our friend Chris. Chris, lunch. Great to see you. Jupiter, Florida, Mr. Gerbic. Back at you, man. How are you doing, sir? London's in the house. James Morgan. Yeah, I definitely did. Hope you did as well, man. Great to see you. Always good to have you here, man. Peter White up in Ontario, Canada. Not too far from here. How are you, sir? Great to see Mr. White in the house. Northern Ireland is here. Whiskey Straight Al. If y'all have not yet, take a second and shoot that man a subscription. He's got a great Whiskey Tube channel and is an all-around great guy. I'm doing pretty well, sir. Back at you. Hope all is well for you over in Ireland. The Arizona desert chiming in, beaming the signal from the Sun Valley. It's our good friend Leo. What up? 99 degrees. Good Lord. We didn't get that close today here in Chicago. The last 2 days have been in the high 80s, though. It's a little warm. Awesome to see you, man. Thanks for swinging in. And what's Donner Pass got to say? Got hand fills from Blair Athol and Tomatin and Art McCurran, or Art Merchant, yeah. Castering 3 Cadenhead shop. Man. Wow, that's awesome. Sounds like a great trip. And by the way, if any of you guys are in the Aqua Vitae group, Facebook group, I think, Donner Pass is posting a bunch of pictures from this trip. So you could see some there. That's awesome, man. It sounds like you had a really good time. I have done Ireland. I've yet to make it to Scotland somehow. I've been everywhere in the British Isles but Scotland. I don't know how that's worked out, but it is what it is, and that just means I get to plan a nice trip one of these days, man. So I'll have to hit you up about that and get some tips from you, man. But great to have you back stateside. Hey, Richie Z's here, man. What's up, Richie? Good to see you, Richie. Raise a glass to you, sir. We got Richie in the house. All right, man. We got 11 folks in. This is great. Okay. Let me set things up a little bit here. We got some, we're going to do 2 whiskeys tonight. Just kind of been the format of late. Our feature whiskey that we're going to uncork this evening and dive into. I have been sitting on this bottle for like over a month. I don't know how I haven't opened it, but we're going to do it tonight. Longrow Red Series, 10 years old, refill Malbec, matured, 52.5% ABV. Can't wait for that. Second half of the show, I got a sample that I will open. It is Laphroaig Day over at the Feis Ile Festival on Islay, or it was tomorrow. One of the two. I got an email note telling me about it today, which then reminded me that they won't ship their new Cartridge bottles over to the United States. So, of course, I'll wait. I check every year just to see if they've changed their policy. Of course, they haven't. But I will be looking for that new Friends of Laphroaig bottle. But it is Laphroaig Day. And so thanks to a sample sent by Micheal Besley, I have a Signatory Vintage 15-year-old Laphroaig that we will get into later on in the show. Let me know what's in your guys' glasses this evening. Let's get a chat going on that. And while we do so, I'm going to tell you guys a bit about this whiskey here that I'm going to open and get in the glass. Beautiful. So for most of y'all who probably already know this, Longrow is one of the weak cork pop, one of the three brand names owned by the Springbank distillery, which includes, of course, Springbank, and which is lightly peated. We got our heavily peated Longrow, and then you have the non-peated triple distilled Hazelburn. So Springbank holding it down in Campbelltown. They got three different brands. I think they are one of the only three distilleries still there. And so this one tonight comes from the Longrow Red Series. So the Red Series is all like wine cask finished Longrows, right? They do, I think, one or two releases of this each year, maybe. I'm not even sure. This one in particular, as I was mentioning, this is the bottle. This one came out, I think, late 2020. I just started seeing it around Chicagoland like about 6 months ago. It is peated. It is from, of course, Springbank, 52.5%. While they don't say it, oh yeah, they do say it on the back. So here's what it's got to say. Longrow Red single malt whiskey has been matured for 7 years in bourbon barrel, followed by 3 years in refill Malbec barriques from some private seller in South Africa, 10,000 bottles at cask strength that are available. So one thing I want to point out right here, just off the bat, and some of y'all have probably noticed this. Oh, one last thing. As this whiskey is not chill filtered, unnatural haze may form when it's cold, but this will disappear when the temperature returns to normal. We all know Springbank is, one of the gold standards when it comes to the high quality single malts in terms of how they make it. They use the old world processes, the presentation, they don't chill filter or natural color, but they don't actually say that on a lot of their bottlings. Here on this Longrow series, and pleasantly so, they do tell you that it is non-chill filtered. They don't say natural color, but they at least got that part in here. So here's the thing, man. Like, why can't they just put this on everything? It is what it is. As I said, so this has been Asian Malbec. Malbec is an Argentinian wine, kind of on the heavier red side. I'm expecting a lot of like dark berry notes coming in off of this. Yeah, they did 10,000 bottles. These things have increasingly gotten more expensive over the years. I think this is going for like $160 these days. You might think that's crazy for a 10-year-old, and you'd be right. But it is what it is. If we want it, we gotta pay for it these days, unfortunately. Here's what it says. J&A Micheal, Scotland's oldest distilling family. They own Springbank. Opened their distillery in 1828. Unique among Scotland's distilleries in all parts. Traditional floor malting to bottling are carried out in one location. It's the only distillery in Scotland to produce 3 different single malts: Springbank, Longrow, and Hazelburn. That is the tail of the tape. So what we're looking at here is a 10-year-old Malbec. Any of you guys had this one before? 3 years ex-bourbon. Oh, I'm sorry, 7 years ex-bourbon, 3 years Malbec barriques, which are quite small barrels. So expecting a lot of pretty intense wine characteristics to come out of this. I have had a couple of the other ones, although I don't think I've reviewed any, and I'd love to hear in the chat if any of y'all have had any of the red series. So I have a 13-year-old Chilean red wine cask. Actually, I think I did review that. And then I think I have 1 or 2 others. One is like a Cab Franc. I think they probably have like 5 or 6 different of these out, different ages, different wines. But this one, again, 2020, as I think is when this was released. And, okay, so that's the tail of the tape here on the Longrow. Let me just catch up on the chat and we'll get into it. Folks checking in, saying hi to Richie. Good to see Richie around. Glad you're doing well, man. I do see your Instas pretty regularly, so good to see you here in the chat. Always great to hang out. All right. Oh, man, and super chat from Daniel. Thank you, man. Happy Laphroaig Day. Let's drink some Cheney Mitchell. Yeah. You also tried it too, yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to wait for that cartridge to make it stateside, man. You know how it goes. Appreciate that $10 super chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Thank you, man. Thanks for the support. He's got a ever-evolving Laphroaig 10 Sherry for Leo. Good bottle, good bottle. Yeah. All the people I was able to meet this Donner Pass meet was amazing. I brought a bunch of samples to hand off with me and brought back a bunch of stuff. The ECP bottle I shared in Scotland was well received. Oh, yeah, I bet, man. I don't know if they get their hands on that kind of stuff over there too often. That's awesome, man. Great thought bringing that one over there. Oh, man, super chat from Whiskey Straight Al. Here's to you, Eric, and your great content, plus your whiskey friendship. It's been great to connect with you across the pond. Absolutely, brother. I will raise my first glass of the Longrow to you when we taste it. Slanch, man. Appreciate you. And again, just to remind folks, if you haven't yet, swing on over, shoot a subscription over to Whiskey Straight Al. He's got a great channel. I really do enjoy watching his videos, and I think y'all would too. And, you know, got to support the folks in Whiskey Tube when we can. So I'm sure he would appreciate it. Cheers, buddy. Richie says he said the 13 Malbec. It's gone now, but I enjoyed it for a couple of years. Yeah, there was that 13-year-old Malbec. Yep. So I don't know if this is the second Malbec they've done. I'm not sure. I unfortunately didn't get my hands on that 13. Leo said he had to snag the 11 Cab Franc and the 13 Malbec many moons ago. Okay. Cool. It appears and disappears too quickly around here. Got a 10 a couple months ago for 2020. Super bright orange flavors. Yeah. Oh, and thanks, for folks who want to join on Patreon. Thanks, Daniel. In addition to getting early access to reviews, you, of course, get a exclusive review, an additional whiskey review every month, and you get whiskey raffle automatically entered into that, so you guys can win some samples a few times a year. So feel free to support the channel on Patreon if you are into such things. Appreciate you, buddy. Okay, let's do this. One more time, here it is. This is the Longrow Red. While they do use the Springbank bottles, I've always kind of been unsure what I thought about Longrow's labels. They're kind of, I don't know. They look like they're trying to look like they're back in like the 1950s or 60s, like some real old bottlings with that cursive writing. I don't know. I don't necessarily love it, but then again, what else do we want? So again, this is 7 years in bourbon barrel, and then 3 years in refill Malbec barrique. So it's not first fill, so that's good. I think it would be too overpowering otherwise, and I trust them. It's from a place in South Africa with the Malbec, so it's not even like directly from Argentina. 10,000 bottles at cask strength are available. This is 52.5% ABV. We know for a fact that it is non-chill filtered. I would bet every dollar I have that it's natural color, but they do not say it on here. Here is the box that comes in. Here is the glass. Let's get this started. Boom. 10-year-old Malbec matured Longrow Red. Get this palate cleaned. I've been waiting for this one for a while, y'all. Let's check it out. Nothing much in the way of legs, although I don't honestly, I'll be completely honest, I don't really usually look at them or care. I just caught it right now, so I'm looking at it. I don't care as long as it's got a good mouthfeel. I mean, they are a little bit slow moving now. I don't know. Whatever. Let's check out the nose. On the nose neat, here we go. It just puts a smile on your face. God bless Springbank. The first thing I notice in this is that Springbank earthy funk. And there's a bunch of it. It's really actually quite strong. And I'm assuming the youth of this whiskey is playing a part in that. Pungent, dank. The red, so the second thing I noticed, so we got kind of this dampness, this kind of dark spice, this funkiness. There's a nice, it's not bright red fruits. It's more on the dry stone fruit side, plum, raisin, or not raisin, plum in particular. There's a lot of, like marzipan, kind of almondy, kind of hints of vanilla, malt. There's a lot going on in here. It's a bit punchy on the nose, as you would expect at 10 years and almost 53%. Wow, complex. Really, you have what to put it in one sentence, it's kind of a youthful, peaty Springbank with a nice kind of juicy, dark juicy, dark to medium stone fruit accented note on it. In terms of the peat, which we should talk about, I mean, this is not a very smoky whiskey. The peat will probably show up more on the palate. You know, there's a difference between peat and smoke, blah, blah, blah. But usually they work in tandem. In the case of this, I mean, there's a little bit of smoke. It's almost kind of like a cherry wood barbecue type thing, which makes sense. But I think it's going to be peatier on the nose. Okay, or on the palate. Here we go. Longrow Red, 10 years old, refill, Malbec matured. Happy Tasty Tuesday, y'all. Slaunch. Ooh. I mean, I love Springbank. It's too bad that they're becoming so coveted these days. We'll do one more neat sip and then we'll talk about this. Okay. Arrives medium body. I expected this to be a little thinner. It's not medium body here. And kind of sweet, but the transition is real strong. The peat is not heavy. It's very rounded. You're not getting a lot of that kind of tingling on the tongue as much as you're getting kind of the flavor of it, which is ashy, a little dirty. Vanilla. So on the sweet side, you kind of got these juicy plum, maybe even a little brighter berry notes on the palate. And then you have these kind of dark, as it transitions, you get much more of the barrel influence and the bourbon cask. Vanilla is part of that sweetness, but as it comes in, chocolatey, earthy, peat in a very rounded way. Again, not intense. This is actually a much milder drinking experience than I expected. You get a real nice wave on the back end of the palate of this just chocolate, vanilla, kind of caramel, slightly root beer, slightly nougat type thing. Long finish. Little ashy, peaty, earthy. This is a much more sweet, savory whiskey. Not a ton in the spice department. This is more in the sweet, savory. I mean, it really tastes like you bit into a high quality, like Ghirardelli dark chocolate or some Godiva dark chocolate that maybe had like a, you know, a little bit of like a raspberry in it or something. Very dessert-like. I will say, after these initial tastes, while the refill barrique makes sense, right? You don't want to have a first fill Malbec, would probably be too powerful. The Malbec is really playing second fiddle to the bourbon cask on this, in the sense that it's kind of giving just a little bit of an accent to the whiskey, like it's giving it just another type of complexity. It is not the star of the show, and it's much less noticeable on the palate than it is, especially as it develops, as it was on the nose. So my experience with the Chilean Cabernet was a little bit, I felt that the wine cask was a little bit stronger. As far as the, like, I just saw this question pop up from Richie, and so I do want to actually bring it up. What's your impression of the peat level? I don't think this is, so it's not very smoky. I mean, off the nose, it's not like a camp. It's definitely not like your Islays, you know, where it just smells like a campfire. What you do, you get more of the peat on the palate, but again, it's kind of dwarfed by this chocolate, slightly molasses, slightly raisiny vanilla bourbon cask. It's more cask than it is peat. You get hints of that ashiness on the back end. Like right now, I still have it going. There's like almost like a little bit of a spearmint thing coming in. Not very peaty. Well, let me rephrase. Not very smoky. The peat is there. We're going to try and see if we can pull out a little bit more with this with the addition of water. Interesting bottle so far. Let me put a couple drops on this. We're going to do 5 drops. I don't know. This is like maybe close to 2 teaspoons. I'm actually really curious where this is going to go. Okay, on the nose. Again, funky, that Dunnage Warehouse earthiness, damp wood note, big time. Sweetness of the fruit. It's coming, like there's more raspberry coming through now. Undeniable. Raspberry, definitely. Ah, there's so much going on in here. It's, as I was mentioning before, it kind of brought the fruit out a lot more. There was a lot of fruit on the nose in the initial like neat. Similar here. It's brightened it up a little bit. I'm maybe getting a little bit more of a citric quality here, but again, you're really like broad strokes. This is the nose here, sweet and kind of savory. There's not a lot of spice, the traditional kind of spiciness you would expect, on some whiskeys in the nose. I'm not getting that here. That funk is undeniable. The peat, you can smell it, but again, not smoky. It's not, this is smoke level wise. Let's compare this to like a Highland Park 12 when it comes to the smoke level. Okay, so the water is not changing this much, maybe making a little more citric, a little brighter. Let's see if the fruits show up more on the palate here. Here we go. Here we go. Boy, the water changes this whiskey. Interesting. So, kind of arrives the same medium mouthfeel, fruit, vanilla. Development, the chocolate, the spice. It is less chocolatey now. It is a bit more aggressive, a bit more edgy, and a bit, I would say, maybe just peatier? Spicier. I'm sorry, spicier. More oak cast, more oak spice, more, a little bit more smoke. It's hard to tell. Going into the finish, still very long. It's definitely more, there's a bit more of like a slightly sour note, a slightly bitter note. I'll be honest, I actually was a little bit more impressed with this neat. I feel like the water has kind of exposed a little bit of the youth here. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, I am getting a little bit more alcohol now. Like, I think the water has, this might have been a little too much water. I don't know. There might be a sweet spot that I missed. I put, like I said, about maybe 2 teaspoons. It is 52.5. A little bit of blueberry, raspberry still there. The plum. Long finish though, still. I think I liked this better neat, and that says something that it's it's better neat at 52.5%. A little more sip. Boy, that arrival is so nice. Yeah. Well, I was like, the development is just too much chocolate. Like it's almost taking away from everything else. Now I feel like it's mellowed it out so much, and it's just kind of what it's really exposing is more oak spice and more of the alcohol level with water. As weird as this sounds, I think this was better neat. Okay. So here it is again. Now, I paid, you know what, I got to do a little bit more of a neat pour here just to make sure I'm not full of shit. Of course, oxidization, blah, blah, blah will do what it does, but whiskey should be as good as it can be right out the gate. There's that nice funk. Neat. Usually the water makes it more easily palatable. This is the opposite. For whatever reason, if you're a seasoned Scotch drinker, you will probably like this more neat. Each has its pluses, but I think the minuses of the water are a bit noticeable. Okay, so here we go. Here in Chicago, a bottle of this is a hefty buck, $159.99. Okay. It's 10 years old, 52.5, non-chill filtered, likely natural color. I think this one's better neat if you're a seasoned drinker. If you are not, I wouldn't buy this. Mostly because I think this is not a whiskey I would have been able to understand or appreciate much in the early days of my journey. That said, this is not one of my favorites of the red series. And it is not necessarily the Malbec doing it. I think this one is a little bit more... to say this about a Springbank is like hilarious. It's a little bit more basic and by the numbers. I find my experience drinking it neat is that it was much more so much more of the bourbon cask comes through on the palate, but not on the nose, which is always like worries me a little bit. Like I like a little bit more homogeneity between the nose and the palate. Not so much on this. And water, I think, exposed the alcohol a bit. And look, it's a good whiskey, no doubt. But the reason I feel like I'm being a little more critical than normal is because this is fucking expensive. Now, I would not buy this again at this price. It's just too much. It's not necessarily great for the price. Now, normally I would probably, I don't think I've had a Longrow or a Springbank really, or a Hazelburn really for that matter, that I thought was bad. And this is not bad by any stretch. And it's quite good. It's just not quite worth the price you're paying for a 10-year-old whiskey, even with this wine cask. If I was going to put a score on it, man, I'm telling y'all, I'm 3.25, 3.4 on this. Or I'm sorry, 3.5. I'm right in that range. So a little bit above average, but the price really kills this. If this was, 5 years ago and we were able to get this for the regular price you could find it for, this would be a 3.75, close to a 4. But as it stands, you just can't really go higher. I think it's young. It's well made. It's young. It shows in with water and neat. It's just it's just not quite bringing the excitement that I was hoping that it would. I think the Chilean Cab which was the last one I reviewed, I think was a more interesting bottle. It was more, 3 more years on it. Yeah, I'll do a full review of this. My prelim is, just to show respect because it deserves it. It's not like it's better. I'll sit at 3.5. So if you're into the 100-point scale, that's between a 84 and an 86, 87. Probably on that 86 range. So, good whiskey, not my favorite. Too expensive. I probably wouldn't go run out and buy it. At this price, I think if you're into this kind of thing, you might be a little bit underwhelmed. But, it's quality for sure. So that's what I got. They're 3.5 on the Longrow Red, 10-year Malbec refill matured. This will be a fun one to taste, to drink a little bit more of. I'll probably do a full review after a while and let this get a little bit of oxygen. But yeah, so there we go. All right, that was cool. Let me catch up on the chat. We got 18 folks in, which is great. Awesome to see you all. Let me see what's going on. I am way behind. I will try to catch up in a expedited manner. Okay, here we go. Peter White, I have the Cab Franc and the Chilean 13 wine. The best Longrow I've tried is a single cask Chardonnay 7-year. Still have a backup. Ow, that sounds good. Longrow I've seen in the past years, the non-age stated. Oh, I think that's the only non-age stated bottle you can get from the Springbank distilling family. I don't think I've ever seen another NAS other than the regular Longrow. Downer Pass. Springbank is everything house, including the basic old fashioned, but that's part of the charm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, definitely. 100% agree. I think it's just them, Glengyle, who does Kilkerran, and Glen Scotia. They're the only ones there, right? Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Yeah, definitely. Truth. Hey! Los Angeles, City of Angels. It's our boy Cohen. Had to stop in because I miss Winston and finally reviewing good multis. Oh, man. Have I not been living up to Cohen standards? That's no good. What's up, buddy? How are you, man? How are things in L.A.? Glen Scotia Bacalta. Nice, man. New stuff coming in left and right. 4 Square, 14 Sovereignty. Buna, 12 CS is finally here. Is that batch 2 that you're seeing or batch 1? Port Charlotte's. Sauternes. Good bottles showing up in Southern California, I see. Yeah, for sure, Richie. For sure. Kirchhoff is going to be there in June. I saw... Oh, interesting. I saw that. I got the email today that they had just released it. So hopefully we'll be able to find it. SCO1. Nice. Hey, JK135, man. Thank you for the super chat. Just grabbed this release, but preferred the Chilean cab to this. I'm kind of getting... I'm with you. Yeah, prices are way out of hand. This is too expensive, man. For a 10-year-old whiskey, I'm sorry. Like, way too much. Way too much. Vancouver's in the house. What up, Indy? Great to see you. And then there's Mike. Oh, Gary K. I'm sorry. San Francisco. What's up, buddy? How are you? Malbec 10 scores pretty high in whiskey base. Yeah, well, I'd love to hear what their score was. I didn't look. Micheal Besley in Maryland. What's up, man? About to get into your sample, man. Thank you so very much. We're going to talk about those in a hot second. Unfortunately, everything in Springbank is too much. Yeah, I'm with you. Enjoyed the Malbec 13. User, I'm going to definitely pour Laphroaig with this. Yeah, man, this dude got 2 bottles. This dude got a 2 bottles of Signet at $90 a piece. It's crazy. I like the Longrow Red Pinot Noir. That one I might actually have one of those. I think I might have the 11. If that makes sense. Where's Winston's? I didn't come here to see a bunch of... I do not know where Winston is, actually. Oh, he's laying out there in the... Looks like he's under the chair, staying cool in this heat. Going. Haven't had a Longrow Red that blew my mind. Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know if I've had any that blew my mind either, but they're good. Greg McDonald's in the house. North Carolina. What's up, man? Hope all's with you. Local store recently got bottles of Laphroaig 16. I have tried that. Yeah, I think I have a review posted somewhere back in the archive on that. When it first came out, I got really lucky and found one. Solid bottle, all first fill bourbon. Okay. Good to have Greg in the house. So we're going to move on to the... So it is, according to the email I got, Laphroaig Day over at Feis Ile. And it corresponds really nicely with a bunch of samples I got from good friend of the show, Micheal Besley. He sent me a bunch of stuff, and I'm so excited to share these with y'all because, like, I'm pretty humbled by it. So he sent me a Highland Park 18. This is from the early 2000s, 43%er. Glenfiddich, the Grand Cuvée Cognac Cask, 26-year-old. A Kalila 35 single malts of Scotland. So this is from Elixir, Director's Special 50.9. I can't wait to try that. An Irish 24-year-old Irish single malt from the Whiskey Agency, 48.2%. Man, brother, amazing. This one, which is going to make it into a larger review, is the Redbreast 32 Dreamcast #1. if you didn't catch the show, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I cracked open the Redbreast 27 finally and was pretty blown away. Well, Micheal Besley has generously shared a sample of the 32 Dream Cask, cask number 1 here. We'll be getting into that somewhere down the line. But for tonight, because it is apparently Laphroaig Day or Laphroaig Days, we have 1998 Laphroaig Vintage, Signatory Vintage from K&L, 59.1% refill bourbon, it looks like, 15 years old. So we're going to pop this in the in the glass and honor what, let's be real, at least around here, is one of my favorite distilleries ever, which is Laphroaig. Yeah, let's get this out of the way right now. They should expose way more of what they do in their bottles. 1. 2, they need to stop chill filtering and coloring all of their stuff. It's unnecessary. And up until last year, I would have said, man, they need to release some more sherry influence stuff. But lucky us, we got at least that 10 now. So I'm going to put this Laphroaig in the glass. Would love to hear in the chat, what are your guys' favorite Laphroaigs? One of my favorite distilleries, man. And they still, I think I have a video in my top 5 Laphroaigs of all time, which I think in no particular order with 10 cask strength, 25, 18 lore, and the Kirch's 2017 quarter cask at cask strength. I love Laphroaig. They, even when they are releasing their stuff in less than integrity ways, most of the time they still find it still connects with me. But you know, they could do better. They could follow Ardbeg's lead on a couple things. They could follow Bruichlotti's lead on a couple things and just up their integrity a little bit. Longrow Reds, or if you see them on the shelf, you automatically buy it because they're, yeah, that's what I did with this Malbec. It was like I had to, but boy, that took a piece out of the wallet. Mission has the 2021 Hazelburn 100. Wow. Richie, thank you for the super chat, buddy. Hey, man, I appreciate that. Thank you so very much, Richie. You don't know how much it means, man. It's so great to have you in the house tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Laphroaig loves this Laphroaig. Yeah, okay. I'm really eager to get into this. I have a sample of the Kalila 35 Diageo release 58.1. Oh, man, we might have to do that the same night at some point. Opened my Annoc 24 the day. I'm assuming today. What do you think? That was my whiskey of the year in 2020. I love it. Oh, you liked it? Delicious, he says. Great. Awesome. Okay. So thank you again to Micheal Besley, man. I appreciate you for sending me these samples. We're going to be enjoying these over the course of the live streams over the next couple months. What we are getting into tonight and what I got in the glass here is, where did I put that thing? Laphroaig. It's Signatory Vintage from K&L Bottling, 59.1, 1998, 15 years old. Here's the beautiful color. That's what a Laphroaig should look like, right? Notice the straw color. Notice the lack of glow to it. So here we go. We're having a mini Feis Ile party here. So here we go. It's interesting that I'm drinking this one tonight, mostly because I just had posted last Friday my 200th whiskey review video, which was the Laphroaig 15, the Laphroaig 15 200th anniversary edition. And you know what? We're going to do a side-by-side comparison between these two because I think it's going to be fun. And it's also just very illustrative of the difference between, at many cases, in a distillery released bottling and an independent bottling. Okay, so here we go. 15-year-old Laphroaig from Signatory, 15-year-old Laphroaig from the distillery. This is the Signatory. This is from the distillery. Do you notice a difference in the color there? Yeah, I do. Doesn't this one look, the one I'm shaking, just a little bit more bright unnecessarily? Now, maybe it's because it's got some sherry in it and this one doesn't. Who knows? I don't think that's what it is. This Laphroaig is bottled at 43% and is also 15 years old. So we're going to do these side by side because I think this is going to be, but it seems so clear to me that there's caramel color added to this. Now on the bottle, what do they say? Nothing. Do they say anything on the back of this about chill filter, natural color? Nope. No, they don't. So here we go. We're going to start with the 43%er. So this is 43% tropical fruit, orange, pineapple. It's huge. It's good. For 43%, this is really good. A lot of peat, a lot of tropical fruit, smoky. More full-bodied than I would expect at 43%. 15 years coming through, a little bit of the creaminess, caramel notes from the bourbon cask. A competent whiskey. When this was released back in 2015, when they were celebrating their 200 years of Laphroaig and they did this 15-year-old limited release, this was a $90 bottle here in the United States. You're not going to find it for that now. If you find it on secondary market, you're probably looking at an auction. I don't know, 175, 200. Not worth it. It's good. Not worth it. Now, let's move on to the not chill filtered, not fake colored, 59.1% 15-year-old Laphroaig. Bottled by bottle selected by K&L out in Los Angeles, James Chang and Cohen's territory, and potentially others. I don't know if anybody else is out in LA. 15-year-old, but it's bottled at Signatory Vintage. Instantly on the nose. Deeper, richer, more intense. Now, the ABV is playing a part of that. The tropical fruit still comes through in this. Slighter. But it's there, which is something I actually quite like about the 15-year-old. Much more intense, much richer. You can tell already. Really nice, peaty smokiness. Let's give it a taste. Wow. Oh, man. That is fabulous. And one of the things I can mention right away, it's just that you don't, like, this neat is still palatable at 59%. This is a full 16% higher than the other 15 that I just sampled. Still very palatable. It's no edges of alcohol in it. Lots of rich, heavy toffee bourbon cask notes. Hints a little tropical fruit here and there. Pineapple, yes. Little bit of a almond paste kind of thing, and tons of just delicious peat and those iodine seaside notes. This blows this other 15 out of the water. It's not even close. And I'm sure that this bottle of 15, if we went back to 2015 and bought it at the same time as this, maybe it was 120 at the most, probably. The color difference here, again, this is the 15 independent bottling. This is the 15 bottling from the distillery. I mean, you can just tell. Look at how much more orange this is. It's ridiculous. Is what it is. Water. I'm going to do the same on both just because. But again, this is, one of my favorite distilleries. Just, they had a good year last year. Their Carchus was really good last year. I think it was a bounce back. It was the it was the cask strength PX. It was a bounce back from 2020 with a port and wine cask, which I didn't think was all that amazing. They also released their 10-year-old sherry. Oloroso sherry matured at 48%. Positive developments. But this year's Carchus, I think, is going to be really interesting because I'm going to assume this might be the last one that John Campbell, the master distiller, head distiller over there, had his hands in before the new guy started. I'm not sure. He might not have, but I think, if anything, this would be the last one we're going to get. Anyways, 15-year-old with water. It's a nice, gentle, more relaxed Laphroaig, sophisticated. Oak cask coming through more, tropical fruit. Nice, nice, nice. I got nothing against this 43% one. Oh, hey, Winston, come here. I know you're angry, but look. Winston the Whiskey Cat's making an appearance. There's Cohen. He's going to send us a super chat because I got you in here. How sweet of him. What do you think about the Laphroaig 15? Nope. And what do you think about this Laphroaig 15? Nope. You can't please this cat. He guards the Carchuses, as you saw in the intro video, but he doesn't. He just can't seem to find a Laphroaig that he likes. Good to see you, Winston. Thanks for hanging out. Your floofy tail. I'm gonna put you over here now. You do your thing. Just don't knock the Carchuses over. Okay. So we're gonna go back into this cask strength. Into the cask strength. Yeah, are you happy? You were like, why'd you put that Laphroaig in my face? We're going to go into the Carchus, or I'm sorry, the K&L Signatory Vintage with water. More lemon, more deliciousness. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. With water, this is still, it tames it down a little bit, getting a little bit more fruit, mellows the ashiness and smokiness just a bit. That's great. Here's the thing about this. I like this 43% in the sense that it's still an interesting whiskey despite its low ABV. But here's the thing. The K&L one, Signatory Vintage, first of all, much better. And second of all, if I want to water my whiskey down to a level that makes it lighter, more sophisticated, get the more subtleties out of it, like you get automatically on that 43%er, I can just add water. So, again, why are they putting this out at 43%? Why was, it is what it is. It's not a bad dram. But Micheal Besley, thank you so very much for this 15-year-old Signatory Vintage bottling at 59.1. This is Laphroaig. I mean, and independent bottlings of Laphroaig are not easy to come by. I have a 12-year-old from Alexander Murray, and then I also have a single cask 12-year-old from a place called Highgrove. That's the extent of it. I mean, they're not easy to find or easy to find at a good price. So this is, yeah. Really nice bottle. I mean, you can go back and look at my 15 review if you want to see what my score was on that. This, obviously, price, I don't know what these would go for. This is easily a 4.25 out of 5 for me. It's not even a joke. This I would put in a glass against the 18, maybe. Great. It was like it's bath time for Winston. That's just delicious, man. I'd love to hear if anybody has had any independent bottled Laphroaigs. And generally, what your favorite Laphroaigs are. If you've been following the channel, you know I'm a huge fan of the 10 cask strength. I do really love the 18, the old 18. I think the lore is really good. Those are probably like the three that if I had to take a desert island 3 Laphroaigs, which I'm just going to make up, that's going to be the question. What are your 3 desert island Laphroaigs that you've had? You have to be things you've had. Drop it in the chat. Mine is going to be lore, batch 4, 10 cask strength, and green tube 18-year-old. Those are my 3 desert island Laphroaigs. I will pop this question in the chat. I'd love to hear what you guys got to say about it. Let me catch up. We got 16 folks in still, which is rad. OB is for the investors. IB is for the drinkers. Mike B, you speak truth, man. Winston, yes. Got Winston, you're getting some love. Richie Z says hi. Yeah, Richie Z says hi. What's up? So does James Chang. He says you're tough. You are, a little bit. Snagged a couple of the Thompson Islas, too. Looking forward to cracking them. Nice. Like B, Whiskey Cat. My great kitty is so happy to see me after 4 weeks. Oh, my God, I can imagine. We are, yes. Yeah. I'm glad your cat is you're back enjoying their company. Cohen, New Hampton Estate, cask strength, all sherry. Oh Jesus, I gotta look out for that. He's got a you have the single cask nation Laughing Frog. I've seen that. Nice. Oof. Yeah, both of these are really good. But this K&L, I would say, is close to almost a full point better. It's interesting how similar the noses are. It's just that, like, this 43% one, way more subtle. And I'm not saying that is a good, like, great. Why bottle it that way, They could have put this at least 46. 43% is just... In most cases, I will throw a fit. I very rarely buy things like that anymore. There are a couple exceptions. Naked Grouse being one of them. I was at Benny's today having a conversation with the guy who worked there about Naked Grouse. Still 43%. Still first fill sherry. Still under $30. It's a good one. Boy, what a bunch of wonderful Laphroaigs. That was awesome. Micheal Besley, again, thank you so very much. I will keep you all posted when we're going to do this streamcast, because I think a redbreast video with the 21 versus the 27 versus the cask strength 10 versus the dream cask in a blind is going to be the only way to do this. I think it's going to have to be a blind. Here we go. Folks are chiming in with some of their Laphroaig desert islands. Alpha Crown's in the house. What's up? Great to see you. Leo, give me the 10 cask strength batch 10. Love the batch 10. Sherry Oak and the Cartridge Triple Wood. Nice picks, man. Nice picks. Oh, man. That cask strength batch 10 is amazing. And here he is. James Chang's in the house. What's up, buddy? Los Angeles getting rep tonight. So just to recap, y'all, we did a uncorking review of the Longrow Red Refill Malbec and cracked a sample to honor Feis Ile 2022 Laphroaig Day. It was a Signatory Vintage Laphroaig exclusive to K&L, 15 years old, 59.1. Thank you again, Micheal Besley, for that sample. And we compared it to the 15-year-old 200th anniversary edition they released in 2015. I should let you know, patrons, I don't know what you want to call yourselves. Patreon supporters, check your email inboxes. My review for this week is sitting there waiting for you to check out and criticize and offer comments on. Compass Box, The Story of the Spaniard. That is in your inbox now. Everybody else, keep an eye out. That'll, of course, drop Friday. And we got about 20 folks in, so I think we're going to roll, man. We're going to roll with having another Laphroaig here. I'm really enjoying both of these, to be honest with you, but there's no comparison. I have a bottle of that Alpha Crown. I have not tried it. I have heard less than stellar things about it, which is kind of why I've avoided it. And Winston is sleeping on the job guarding the Carchis collection over there, as you can see. I would grab the 15, which I probably can do now because he's sleeping. Otherwise, he's trained to attack on sight if anybody gets too close to the Carchis collection over here. But I have a feeling that I might be able to sneak it. He's a really bad guard cat. Isn't that right, Winston? Winston. Oh, I only took 3. Yeah, 15 Friends of Laphroaig. Yeah, that was from that same year. So when they did this 200th anniversary 15, they also did a 200th anniversary Carchis, which I think is exponentially better than this, even though it has no age statement. The 2015 Carchis is a stellar bottle. Wow. Since it is Laphroaig Day, I think the way we go here is green tube Laphroaig 18. I did do a green tube versus white tube comparison many years, maybe a couple years back. You can check that out. In fact, I do have a white tube right here. Bada bing, bada boom. The white tube was the last. They switched up the branding. I did a comparison. I personally found this older one to be better. And then when this was discontinued, they released the lore. But we're gonna do a dram of the Laphroaig 18 from years in the past. I think this is probably bottled in maybe 2011, 2010. This is further back, 2008, 2009. This is you want to hear something really great, y'all? You know what it says on the back here? Bottled at 40% ABV and non-chill filtered for a depth of taste and texture. What does that imply to you? Does that imply that if they don't say that, it doesn't have the depth of taste and texture? That's what it says to me. They used to be so great. So here we go. I'm going to put a little Laphroaig 18 in the glass. And you know what? I'm going to say this right now. We're still a little bit of time out from the next Patreon sample raffle, but I'm going to tell you right now because it is Laphroaig. Laphroaig 18 green tube. This is going to be one of the samples you can win if you are a Patreon supporter. So if you want to join on Patreon and support the show, it goes a long way to keeping things going, and you're automatically in 3 sample raffles a year. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying this is the 3 people win each raffle. There's a 3rd place, 2nd place, 1st place. I'm not sure where this is going to fall yet, but Laphroaig 18 is going to be in this. So if you want to chase a old Laphroaig 18 green tube bottling from many years ago, if you're on Patreon, you're in luck. You're already going to get a chance. If not, you can join today. Patreon.com/maltmuserwhiskey. Keep the show going. Keep things rolling here, and I'll make sure you get a sample of this if you are a lucky winner. So here we go. I'm going to put this. Where are we at here? Is this it? No. I got to water down this. Clean this out. Has anybody had this before? I would be eager to know. Well, I will mention that when I did the white tube versus green tube, it's a subtle difference. I can't say it was anything more than batch variation. I have a couple of these green tubes and I have a couple of the white tubes. I don't think there's much difference, but I think it was slight. And in the day that I did it, this was the one that won. Plus, I mean, come on, right? It looks rad. Again, so these are what they look like. This was the last design before it went by the wayside and ended up being a And they ended up moving to the Lore, much to the chagrin of everybody. But the Lore is good in its own right. So, Laphroaig 18, we're going to let that sit in the glass for just a little bit, get some oxygen. It is a fantastic whiskey. So I saw that. This is the year I'm I've said it for 3 years. I've said I'm done chasing these overpriced Ardbegs annual releases, and I'm only going to buy the ones that look really interesting and that I can try first. I'm putting it into effect this year. As you can tell, if you look behind me, I did fail with the Scorch. And I kind of liked the Scorch. My general feeling about those has been, if you can get a committee release, they were worth it at around that 100, 120 that they used to be. The problem now is the committee releases are like $180. The limited releases that they put out, the limited release black was awful. I mean, it had no finish at all. I would have put that as a 2 out of 5, maybe. The limited release Scorch, which I unfortunately have, is pedestrian at best. Let's not even talk about the drum. I do have limited releases of the Dark Cove and the Kelpie, and those are good. The Dark Cove especially, but like, nah, I can't. I mean, I've already seen they're putting out this limited release can be like $140. The committee release is closing in on $200. Fuck that. As much as I love punk rock, fuck that. That's what I say to the high-priced punk rock themed Ardbeg. Right there. I'm going to avoid it. Even if I walk into a store, and this is what happened last year. It was like, I was like, I'm not buying the Scorch. This is ridiculous. Dragon Cask. What the hell is that? And then I walk in and I'm like, oh shit, they have it. And it's $160. All right. Not happening this year. So if you're going to look for reviews on that, you're going to have to look elsewhere. I'm done. I'm done with these. Until they put out something compelling and it's at a reasonable price, I just can't do it. And I don't begrudge anybody that does. Telix, my former whiskey compadre on Tuesdays, I believe he got his hands on those. He's a huge Ardbeg fan. Check out his video. Telix, the whiskey tech. I think he did a live stream just less than a week ago on it. I encourage you all to go and listen to his thoughts on it. I'm not doing it. I'm done. So that's where I'm at. What about Laphroaig 16? Oh, for my top 3? No. It's the bourbon cask is too strong. At least on the batch I had. It's too much. The first fill bourbon, it just, I don't know. Didn't quite do it for me. Good whiskey, but I'm not messing with it. I wouldn't put it in my top 3. I mean, it's still good, but which 18 sample did you send me? Oh, yeah. I think I sent you the green tube. No. I sent you the white tube because that's why I have it out here. Yeah, I sent you the white tube. I actually, I didn't even think about it until it was too late. Oh, yeah. They have it. Yeah, that's really fun. I need to go put on my, like, I don't know, some of my, like, hardcore political shirts or something like a Sex Pistols shirt or something like that. Fuck you and your goddamn you and your $200 punk rock theme. I mean, that's the last stage, right? What I should do, ironically, is wear like one of those Rage Against the Machine shirts, which had like Che Guevara on it, you know, and you could buy it for like $35 at the mall. Like that would be like the symbolic fuck you of like how hilarious it is that these punk rock things become monetized so much. Yeah, no, I'm not messing with the hardcore. They can go fuck themselves, in my opinion. I like Ardbeg, but here's what I know already: it's not better than the Corey Brecken. It's not better than the Ugadal, and it's not better than the 10. I know it already because the last 3 years of it, the exception of maybe the black committee release being better than the 10, I'm just not going to do it. Eric, have you tried the 2000? No, I have not had the Ardbeg. That's the Manzanilla one. No, I haven't had it. I wish. I've seen it. I have some old Ardbegs. I mean, I have. This is the Renaissance. This is from 2009. I have the distillery release Perpetuum, Supernova. I got a bunch of Dark Coves. I think there's Ardbeg 19 Trevon. I have a Micheal single cast 1990 Ardbeg, but that's it. Yeah, I had the oldest one I had was the special releases was the Ardbeg Day committee release, which was the first committee release they did, but I sold it to somebody. Alpha Crown did a vertical compare with the Dark Cove and Oogie 2020. Oogie just smoked Dark Cove a mile away. I mean, that's the thing. So you go back and you have a choice, right? You buy this, you buy the Dark Cove, which is probably the last great release they did of the community release series, or you buy an old Oogie. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they ever are able to top what they have in their core range. Yeah, check it out. Do it. I'll try and make my pick. Yeah, I'll try and do a thing about that. I'm gonna grab it. That was good. Cohen, new cartridge is all 9-year first filmmaker. Yeah, of course, first filmmaker's mark. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm gonna buy it. There's no doubt, man. No way, dude. Top T, what's up? Can you believe it? I finally learned my lesson. I'm a few years behind, but I'm done. I'm just not going to chase it. Fuck. Too funny. 100%. If you're game, I would love to try. Yeah, alligator's the other one too. Yeah, I would love to, Greg. I mean, if you're willing, I'm happy to set up a swap with you. And roller coaster. Oh, you've had the roller coaster? Need to open it. Don't open it because of me, but appreciate that, man. %. But here's the thing. I'm not even like the price is so bad now. I'm not even sure you couldn't just get what you want. I don't know if you could I don't know what the market is for this anymore. I just think it jumped the shark years ago. I love Ardbeg. So I'm like, The last one that I think was worth its weight in salt, but was still a bit overpriced, was the Ardbeg Black committee release. The limited release was shit. The Scorch is fine. I mean, it was shit just because I thought it had no finish. I mean, it's still a decent dram, but the Scorch was okay. The Grooves was also okay, but it was like $120 for an Ardbeg in a wine cask finish. Okay, like I can wrap my head around that for the committee release. The drum was Benel. And then before that, which you had Kelpie. I never had the Kelpie committee. I have the limited. Kelpie was solid. Dark Cove was great. There you go. The problem, it's just they're too expensive. They're just too expensive. I'm sorry. I'm not paying $80 for the Ardbeg Hardcore. Like they can piss off with that stuff. I did too. Yeah, I do have the CR Scorch. I liked it, but again, I don't think in retrospect, it's you pay the extra money because you want this committee release. I don't think it's a $160 bottle. Just like I don't think this Malbec 10 Longrow refill is a $120 bottle. It is better than the Scorch, though. Yeah, the Manzanilla one, yeah, definitely. I got to try that Ardbeg. Righteous. Let's talk about it, man. Happy to give you some reciprocity on that too, man, for sure. Yeah, dude. I have a couple of these. I luckily I had like maybe 4 or 5 bottles of the limited release Dark Cove, which is still at 46.5. I mean, not bad. You know? It's still pretty good. They need to just figure out a way to re-release that, or they need to do like an Ardbeg 10 cast strength, like Laphroaig does. Like do an Ardbeg 10 cast strength as your committee release one of these years. But I think it's like they're so, you know, they got Gordon Motion who does all these, right? So he's the guy from Glenmorangie. So, you know, always looking at, he's a real master marketer, looking at all these different things to do. You know, it's just one of those things, right? He just, you know, it's like the tale of this, the tale of that. And Glenmorangie does. They're good bottles, some of them. I mean, the Tale of Winter, I think, was better than the Tale of Cake. But those are reasonably priced. I mean, you're paying $100. Yeah, it's NES, but they're 46% non-chill filtered. They're good. These Ardbegs, man. I mean, these committee releases are like almost $200 for NAS. It's tough these days, you know? So... yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm not surprised to hear that at all. All right. Okay, so here we go. Laphroaig 18. Again, it is Laphroaig Day on at Feis Ile on Islay. First in person, I think, in 2 or 3 years. This is the green tube Laphroaig 18. We're gonna just drink this in honor. Bada bing, bada boom. A great dram. And again, I can't help but just mention this one more time. They took the time on the back of this to tell you that it's not chill filtered. The only Laphroaigs you see in their standard releases today that I ever see anything about this on is the 10 cast drink where they say barrier filtered only. They don't even say non-chill filtered. They say barrier filtered only, which is like, we're going to take the wood chips out of it. So at least they're not chill filtering that. But again, I love the distillery. They make great whiskey. I love it, even though they put out stuff that's chill filtered, even though they put out stuff with color. It's Laphroaig. But they could do better. They could learn from Bruichladdich. They could learn from Ardbeg. Just a little bit more, just a little bit more detail, just a little bit more information for the customer. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. Let's hope that they do it. Here we go. Laphroaig 18, green tube. This is, I think, from 2009, 2010, maybe. Perfect. Nice, rich, intense, medicinal peat, balanced perfectly with sweet tropical red fruit. And then there's like a nice punchy kind of bourbon cask, maybe with some almonds, some oak. It's just, even at 48%, it's like deceptively mellow on the nose. This is a whiskey that demands your respect, and the legs on this aren't even moving yet. I mean, they're just thick and going down the side. Beautiful. Here we go. Laphroaig 18, Sláinte. It's the best. It's one of the best Laphroaigs. It's not my favorite. It's my second favorite, probably. It is a perfect marriage of punchiness and sophistication. Elegant, you know, it's elegant and light, and then also robust and full body. It gives you the best of both worlds. It's right at that transition point until you start getting a lot more tropical fruit, a lot more subtlety, even more subtlety, which you find in like the 25. I've only had one bottling of the 25. I think this 18 is better. But look, man, the lore is not bad. God, there's such a nice dark chocolate hazelnut thing going on in this. Incredibly long finish. Boy, it would be nice if they could bring this back. It's so good. So good. I saw, yeah, it did have an age statement, right? I didn't have it, but the last one of those that I bought that was, I have the Ardbeg, the rye cask, which I quite liked. But I got it at a decent price. It's stupid now. If you find it on secondary markets, it's like you'd be paying way over $200 for it, which I just don't think is worth it. Let's not have anyone learn from Ardbeg. I don't want $15. I don't want. Oh, well, okay. Let me qualify this. What I mean about learning from Ardbeg is that Ardbeg puts out their core range, non-chill filtered natural color, and everything's at least 46%. That's what I mean. Laphroaig adopting those policies would be great. I'm not suggesting that they maybe go, let's go like full gimmicky. But as far as the Ardbeg core range goes, yeah, I don't think since the Dark Cove there's been anything they've put out that's been better than their core range. And whatever, we can gripe about Ugadal versus 10 versus Corey Vrecken, but at the end of the day, that core range I think is an exemplar of like what they should do. Same with Bruichladdich. Like, why would you put out anything sub? I mean, this is Kalila is another example of this. It's like 43%. I have a 25-year-old Kalila at 43%. I mean, 46% would make a huge difference. It's good. It's actually really good, the 25. But the Kalila 12, I think, is one of the most disappointing Islay whiskeys, in my opinion. It's overpriced. It's almost $80 now. It's 43%, chill filtered, colored. It's like Ardbeg at least puts out an integrity core range. And I feel like it age stated, like I feel like we could some of these people could learn a little bit from them. I am settling for this Pete 6-year-old Ben Nevis Sherry Bomb. Speaking of Ben Nevis, we're going to do a 4-dram, 3-dram, 4-dram, 5? We're going to do a Ben Nevis show relatively soon here, where it's going to be multiple bottlings of Ben Nevis that I'm going to do blind. Because I have a bunch of them. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I like Ben Nevis. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys posted. By the way, the review dropping Friday is Compass Box, The Story of the Spaniard. A relatively modestly priced by today's standards whiskey. I'll be curious to hear what people have to say about that. Patreons, it is in your inbox. Belgium's in the house. What up? Whiskey Lover Society. I raise a glass of Laphroaig 18 to you, sir. What's going on, Gert? Diageo doesn't even bother putting out core range for Kalila. Yeah. Kalila is great independent bottlings. In fact, I've been buying more and more of them, also Feis Ile bottlings. But as for their like name brands, I think the 12 is one of the weakest of the core range introductory bottlings of any peated island malt. I would drink Kilhome and Mocker Bay over that. I would drink. Actually, you know what? Honestly, it is the weakest. That's in my opinion. I think it's the weakest. I think it's a really sad bottling. In my opinion. Now, the 25, not a sad bottling. Pretty good for the price, but fuck the goddamn 43%. Come on, right? It's still pretty good. But independent bottle Kalilas is where it's at. Berry Brothers and Rudd, Signatory Vintage. It goes on and on and on. There are so many great bottlings independently of like 10-year-old, 11-year-old, 9-year-old Kalila that blow the 12 out of the water and are sometimes cheaper. There you go. Don't waste your money on it. Man. The Laphroaig 18 is a masterclass. What a delicious whiskey. What a perfectly balanced whiskey. It is, and again, anecdotally, it's not just proof by potency with this. You can just tell the difference in like how they have viewed their customers by what they tell you on the back. Again, this is from probably 10, 12 years ago. they tell you that it's not chill filtered. Does this 15, which was released maybe 4 or 5 years later, say anything about anything? No. It's just marketing. They don't say anything about what's going on in the bottle. They don't tell you what it's aged in. They don't tell you that it's chill filtered. Nothing. I mean, let's fast forward. Well, the cast strengths are an exception, but yeah, I thought I had a bottle of Lore around here somewhere, which I like. But again, anyways, the point stands. It is what it is. I'm going to go back to the Longrow Red, which we tasted earlier. For folks who may be just joining us, you can go back and take a look. I did a little uncorking review of the Longrow Red 10-year-old refill Malbec matured. Solid, not the best. Overpriced, yes. Not worth the money, in my humble opinion. But it's good. As it should be. It's from Springbank. Okay, let me catch up on the chat really quick. We're going to go for a little bit longer, and then we will wrap things up for Tasty Tuesday. Boone at 12 CS. It's a great price. Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah. Dude, those Kalila, the first Kalila cast strength that I bought, well, let me rephrase. The first Kalila independent bottle I bought was from like a Berry Brothers in Rudd. It was like $59. It was a 11-year-old cast strength, 55.9%, if I remember correctly. And I remember drinking it and being like, oh, wow. Like how? Why would I spend $20 more for the 12-year-old at 43%? Delicious bottle. Glad you're enjoying it. Top Shelf D speaks wisdom. I'm going to be down in your neck of the woods this weekend, by the way, brother. I got a good friend of mine who's into we go to a lot of see baseball stadiums. I'm going to the Reds Nationals game this Saturday. I don't know how close that is to you, but I know you're in that Ohio, Kentucky area. I've never seen the Red Stadium, so I'm going to go check it out. Yeah. Definitely. At Mall Muser. Is there a Muser gathering in the works in the next year or so? You know, it's funny you bring that up. There are a couple folks out here where I am in Chicago. And there might be. I've been trying to think about a way to do that. I would love to. I mean, it would be, when I went to Paris last year, I got to hang out. I did a tasting. It was not recorded on video, unfortunately, but on Instagram, we posted pictures, which I think you probably might have saw, Richie. I had the great opportunity to head on over to the home of Greg's Whiskey Guide. And Greg had put together a really nice tasting of just some incredible single malts, even a couple French whiskeys, which was awesome. I would love to do something in the U.S. and try to bring folks together. There are a couple folks here, Silverlock Whiskey and Whiskey Quest, are here in Chicago, where I am, and I've been looking at a way to try to put something together. But yeah, man, I mean, it would be awesome. I do this more to, as I always say, I learn more from y'all than I probably learn from anybody else, and or you'll learn from me for that matter. And it's all part of the journey, and it's just a lot of fun. I just love the opportunity to meet up with folks. I've had the opportunity, like I said, I met with Greg's Whiskey Guide in Paris. There's been a couple other times that I've had some drams with some people, but yeah, I have not thought of anything formal, but it would be fun. I mean, there are a couple folks like Top Shelf Whiskey. Dustin and Mike, they're not like crazy far from me, down in Ohio, Kentucky area. I know Whiskey Ace is out in Pittsburgh. When I was in Philly, I thought about trying to figure that out. I have met up with a couple other folks over there, but yeah, good prompt, Richie. It would be awesome. I would love to sit around and have drams with people who are good folks. So, Cohen. About Ben Nevis. It's a baseball stadium. Yeah. I'm going to the Reds Nationals game. I'm staying just over the river in Newport, Kentucky. Yeah. And I'm just going to be down there Saturday for the game, but going out after the game. So I don't know if you're close to Cincinnati. If you are, it'd be rad, man. If you think you're around that area, why don't you, shoot me an email if you can, malt.muser@gmail. After the game, my buddy and I are just going to be kind of, out and about. I've never spent much time in Cincinnati. So if you're around, want to have a couple drinks, dude, let's do it, bro. Hell yeah, man. What up, Dram? Dude. No Cal. What's up, man? How are you? Mike B. Headed to Chicago in a couple weeks. Dude, for real? Keep me posted, man. Email me. Let me know when you're going to be here and where you're staying. Man, that would be rad. We could meet up. That'd be fun. Richie. Yeah, folks saying hi to Richie. Mike and I. Yeah, dude. That'd be awesome. And fuck, we could just meet halfway in Indianapolis if we really want. I mean, if we really want to go to Indianapolis, but that'd be great, man. Yeah, I would love to meet you and Mike in person, and you guys have been freaking awesome and so instrumental in my whiskey journey. That'd be fun. Dude, please do, man. Please do. Yeah, we're just going down there to check out the stadium for one night, and shoot me an email, man. That'd be awesome. Cheers. Yeah, it's again malt.muser@gmail. Okay. We're rolling Longrow Red here. And I do want to thank, by the way, for the folks who sent those super chats earlier tonight, man. Appreciate you guys. JK135, Daniel H, who I don't know if he's still around or not. Richie Z. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you so much. And I think, and Whiskey Straight Out. So appreciate you guys so much. Anyway, to recap, this was the uncorking review we did earlier. Featured bottle of the night. A good one. Overpriced. Still tasty. 3.5 is my prelim score on this. Not bad stuff. I'm going to take this dram into the evening and wrap things up. I have a second half of a Brewers game to watch. They are in town against the Cubs, so I got to check the rest of that. Again, I will Whiskey review coming out Friday is Compass Box, the story of the Spaniard Patreons. You got this in your inbox already. But with that, it was fun to check out this bottle, and have a couple of Laphroaigs with y'all to celebrate the distillery on Laphroaig Day over at Feis Ile. First time in person in a while, which is hopefully this will be the new norm. I'm getting real tired of this, but much love to all of y'all, man. I appreciate everybody. I hope you guys had a nice Memorial Day weekend. And for those of you who have family and friends, and generally just people who have fallen at the hands of whatever war, man, we raise a glass to all them folks. Much love. Appreciate you all. And with that, I'll catch you guys next Tuesday. Slash.